Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered why a woman who once walked away suddenly reaches out again, you're not alone. Many men assume that love, guilt, or nostalgia pull her back, but the truth is far more nuanced. How a man handles intimacy, emotionally and psychologically, plays a massive role in how a woman perceives him. Some men are easily forgotten, while others leave a lasting imprint on a woman's mind, naturally drawing her back to them even when they don't chase. So, what sets these men apart? In today's video, we will break down the key psychological principles that make a man unforgettable. We'll explore the emotional shifts women go through after intimacy, the hidden power of creating space, and why confident, self-assured men always hold a special place in a woman's mind. If you want to understand how to build real, lasting attraction where women naturally come back instead of drifting away, stay with me until the end. Let's get started. 1. Women leave, but why do they come back? A woman once held your hand, shared her thoughts, and made you believe she was here to stay. But slowly she drifted. Maybe it was subtle at first, texting less, seeming preoccupied, pulling away in ways that weren't immediately obvious. Then one day she was gone. You tried to understand, but no explanation truly satisfied. It seemed she had moved on. But then something changes. Weeks, months, or even years later, she resurfaces. A casual message, a nostalgic comment, a sudden curiosity about your life. Many men, still holding on to old feelings, assume it's love pulling her back or regret whispering in her ear. But the truth is far more intricate. Women rarely return because of guilt, nor do they always come back because of deep, unwavering love. Instead, they return to men who left a mark on them, men whose presence lingered long after they walked away. Some men fade like distant memories when they leave a woman's life. Then there are men who remain imprinted in her mind, not because they pleaded for attention, but because they never lost themselves in the relationship. A woman may leave, but she never forgets a man who carried himself with quiet confidence, never begged her to stay, and continued to evolve even in her absence. If she felt a strong emotional pull toward you before, that energy does not vanish overnight. Women are drawn to men with an effortless magnetism, men with direction, purpose, and presence that make them stand out. If she sensed that you were a man of value who did not need her validation to feel whole, she would remember you differently than others. Time and distance often sharpen this realization. While she may have left believing she could find something better, she soon faces a truth many fail to acknowledge. Most men do not leave lasting impressions. Most men are predictable, too eager, too available, too easily swayed by emotion. But the man who understands his worth, the man who does not chase, the man who lets go without resentment, that is the man who stays on her mind. When she reaches out again, it is not just nostalgia speaking. It is curiosity, a desire to see if the energy she once felt still exists. It is the realization that while she walked away, she never replaced what you brought into her life. And the most powerful position a man can be in at that moment is one of clarity, knowing that her return is not a confirmation of love, but a reflection of your impact. Whether you accept her back or not is secondary. The real victory lies in understanding why she returned in the first place. 2. Why do women change their gratitude after intimacy? Men and women often experience intimacy differently in the moment and the following emotional aftershocks. For a woman, the experience can create a deep emotional bond, a connection that lingers beyond the physical. However, this does not mean she will stay, nor does it guarantee that her interest will intensify. Attraction is complex, and if a man misreads her reactions, he can unknowingly push her away rather than draw her closer. The mistake many men make is assuming that intimacy alone cements a woman's feelings. While it can strengthen an emotional connection, it can also trigger doubts, overthinking, and even emotional withdrawal. A woman may start questioning the relationship, wondering if she made the right choice, or subconsciously testing whether the man is as confident as he seems. She may feel suffocated if he becomes too eager, texting excessively, seeking reassurance, or acting as though intimacy has automatically secured her devotion. On the other hand, if he pulls away entirely, assuming she will chase him, she may interpret it as disinterest and begin emotionally detaching. The key to keeping a woman intrigued is mastering the delicate balance between closeness and distance. A man who remains composed, does not overreact to her emotional fluctuations, and continues living with the same confidence and purpose as before, becomes the man who lingers in her mind. He is neither too available nor absent. He allows her to feel the connection without making it the center of his existence. When a man handles this balance well, he becomes unforgettable, not because of what happened between them, but because of how he makes her feel in his presence and absence. 3. The push-pull effect in female psychology. The human mind is wired to desire what feels just out of reach. This principle is deeply embedded in attraction, and women are no exception. A man who is always present, always available, and always seeking validation unknowingly diminishes his value. On the other hand, a man who balances presence with mystery, who gives but also withholds, creates a gravitational pull that keeps a woman intrigued. This is the essence of the push-pull effect, a dynamic that governs how women respond to men. A woman does not want a man who is too eager. She may appreciate his efforts initially, but predictability dulls excitement over time. If she knows she can have his attention at any moment, the anticipation vanishes, and with it, the thrill of the connection. But simultaneously, a man who disappears completely, who becomes indifferent or unavailable, risks fading from her mind altogether. The key is in the balance, being present enough to maintain connection, yet distant enough to be missed. Men who master this understand the power of restraint. They do not rush to reply to every message or entirely ignore a woman's interest. They engage, but they never overcommit. They give her moments of closeness, followed by space for reflection. It is in that space that attraction intensifies. She wonders about him, anticipates his next move, and questions whether she fully has him, and it is in that uncertainty that desire is born. The most captivating men are those who operate from self-possession rather than neediness. They do not seek constant reassurance or rely on a woman's validation for their confidence. Instead, they create a dynamic where she must work to keep their interest. A woman respects a man she has to earn, but quickly loses respect for the one who hands himself over too quickly. This is not about manipulation, but embodying a natural, confident energy that keeps attraction alive. When a man understands this, he stops chasing and starts attracting. He becomes the kind of man a woman cannot forget, the one whose presence lingers in her mind even when he is not around. He does not try to be unforgettable. He simply lives in a way that makes him impossible to ignore. 4. The secret to making women never forget you. A woman remembers a man not for what he says, but for how he makes her feel. The moments of silence, the space he leaves, the mystery he carries, these are the things that linger in her mind long after he is gone. A man who does not rush to seek validation, who does not desperately cling to attention, who allows her to wonder. He is the one who stays imprinted in her thoughts. After any deep emotional or physical connection, the instinct of most men is to seek reassurance, reach out and chase the feeling. But the man who understands attraction on a fundamental level knows better. He does not smother, he does not over-explain, and he does not make himself too available. Instead, he allows absence to do the work for him. A decisive shift occurs when a woman does not hear from him immediately and does not know what he is thinking. Uncertainty creates desire. The mind fills in the blanks with curiosity, nostalgia, and longing. This is not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It is about embodying the essence of a high-value man, someone who has a life so rich, so fulfilling, that he does not need constant external validation. He is too engaged in his passions, focused on his growth, and immersed in his journey to make a woman the center of his world. And paradoxically, this is what makes him unforgettable. Women are drawn to men who move with purpose, have depth beyond the surface, and do not desperately grasp attention, but instead allow it to come naturally. He does not chase, he attracts. He does not beg for time, he makes others crave his presence. He knows that by simply continuing to live his life, building, creating, exploring, he becomes a source of intrigue, someone worth remembering. The most magnetic men are not the ones who try too hard, who text first every time, and who over-explain their feelings. They are the ones who let moments breathe, who let emotions develop in their absence, who trust in their value so deeply that they do not fear losing anyone, and in doing so, they ensure that they are never truly forgotten. 5. How high-value men behave. A man who holds real value in a woman's eyes is not the one who constantly seeks her attention, nor makes himself available at her every whim. He does not operate from a place of neediness or insecurity. Instead, he has purpose, direction, and an unshakable sense of self-worth. His validation does not come from women. It comes from within. He understands that chasing approval only diminishes his value, while standing firm in his path makes him naturally magnetic. Women are instinctively drawn to men who set clear boundaries, men who respect their time and, in doing so, command respect in return. A man who immediately answers every call, changes his schedule at a moment's notice, or puts his ambitions on hold for a woman is not seen as devoted, he is seen as desperate. A high-value man does not operate this way. He is present when he chooses to be, but is not endlessly accessible. His time is limited, and that scarcity makes it valuable. What makes a man genuinely desirable is not his willingness to drop everything for a woman, but his ability to remain steadfast in his journey, regardless of whether she is there. Women do not want to be the center of a man's world. They want to be part of a world that is already rich, exciting, and fulfilling. A man fully engaged in his growth, whether through his career, passions, or personal development, exudes an energy that naturally attracts. He does not need to convince anyone of his worth, because it is evident in how he carries himself. When a man loses himself in pursuing a woman, he unknowingly lowers his value in her eyes. She may not even recognize it consciously, but she will feel it. The chase, once thrilling, becomes mundane. The mystery, once intriguing, disappears. But when a man remains grounded in his ambitions and does not make her the sole focus of his world, he retains his allure. She wonders about him, longing for his attention, questioning whether she has captured his interest. The paradox of attraction is this: the less a man seeks validation from a woman, the more she desires to give it to him. The less he prioritizes her over his purpose, the more she wants to be part of his life. A man of value does not chase, he builds, he grows, and he moves forward. And in doing so, he becomes the one she cannot ignore. 6. Why women always remember confident men. Confidence is the silent force that leaves an unforgettable imprint on a woman's mind. It is not about arrogance or dominance, but about unwavering certainty in oneself. A genuinely confident man does not seek approval, does not react emotionally to minor setbacks, and does not let a woman's shifting moods dictate his behavior. He remains steady, grounded, and in control, making him the kind of man women remember long after he is gone. Women unconsciously test men all the time. She cancels plans at the last minute. Does he become irritated and demand an explanation, or does he simply shrug it off and continue enjoying his day? She flirts with another man in his presence. Does he show jealousy and insecurity, or does he remain unaffected, knowing that his value does not diminish compared to anyone else, She pulls away emotionally. Does he panic and chase after her, or does he maintain his composure, understanding that attraction ebbs and flows? A confident man never overreacts because he does not tie his self-worth to a woman's actions. Men who lack confidence often fall into the trap of overcompensation. They try too hard to please after intimacy, seeking validation through excessive affection. They react impulsively when tested, revealing insecurity rather than quiet strength. But a man who remains centered, no matter the circumstances, commands deep respect. He does not reward flaky behavior, does not chase, does not plead. Instead, he communicates through his actions that he is a man of value who will not tolerate disrespect, yet does not feel the need to control anyone. The effect of this mindset is powerful. A woman may not always express it openly, but she feels a profound difference with a man who does not waver. She remembers how he handled challenges gracefully, never let emotions dictate his reactions, and how his presence alone made her feel secure yet challenged. Even if she walks away, she cannot forget him, because men like him are rare. The moment a man understands that true confidence is built from within, not from validation, but self-respect, he becomes the one she regrets losing. 7. The art of nonchalance, the magnetic indifference. Attraction is not built through excess effort, but through controlled indifference. A man who understands this does not chase, does not overwhelm, and does not seek validation. He engages, but he does not overextend. He expresses interest, but he does not beg for reciprocation. His presence lingers not because he forces it, but because he leaves space for a woman to wonder, anticipate, and be drawn in. After a date, there are two types of men. 1, the man who, driven by anxiety and the need for reassurance, floods her phone with messages, overanalyzing every detail, attempting to secure her feelings through sheer persistence. He thinks he is building a connection, but he is suffocating it. 2, the man who, confident in his presence, simply sends a single message, "I had a great time with you," and then disappears into his life. He is not playing games. He is demonstrating security. He does not need immediate validation because he knows his value. And so, while the first man fades into white noise, the second becomes a mystery. He becomes the one she replays in her mind, the one she starts to question, the one she unconsciously desires more. A woman's attraction grows in the space between interactions. It is in the moments when she wonders what he is doing, why he is not chasing her, and whether she has made the same impact on him as he has on her. A man who is always available, eager and seeking her attention, removes this space. He gives her no room to miss him, no reason to think about him. But the man who remains composed, whose world does not revolve around her, who is fully engaged in his ambitions and pleasures, he becomes magnetic. Nonchalance is not about arrogance or mind games. It is the art of maintaining control over your emotions and your actions. It is understanding that attraction is not won through force, but through presence. It is the ability to engage without overcommitting, to express interest without dependence, and to be confident without the need for reassurance. When a man embodies this, he shifts the dynamic. He is no longer the one seeking approval. She is. And the more she feels the pull of uncertainty, the more drawn she becomes. 8. Build a rich life to become naturally attractive. A man with purpose and direction is naturally magnetic. He does not chase, he builds. He does not beg for attention, he commands it through his actions. Women are drawn to the energy of a constantly evolving man who remains focused on his journey, regardless of who enters or exits his life. The moment a man stops growing and starts centering his life around a woman, he unknowingly weakens the very attraction that brought her to him in the first place. James was once this kind of man. Before meeting her, he had a career he was passionate about, a body he worked hard to maintain, and a social life filled with meaningful connections. He was not waiting for love to complete him. He was already complete. His energy was different, confident, self-assured, and driven. She admired him because he was a man of purpose, someone who moved forward with or without her. But everything changed when he got into a relationship. Slowly, James started to prioritize her over everything else. His gym sessions became infrequent, his time with friends diminished, and his focus on his career wavered. Every decision revolved around her. Every free moment was spent with her. At first she enjoyed the attention, but over time something shifted. The same man who once captivated her with his independence had become predictable, too available, too eager to please. The respect and admiration she once felt began to fade, and without those, attraction quickly followed. Then the inevitable happened. She lost interest. The same man she once chased now felt ordinary. And when she finally left, James was left with nothing. No direction, no motivation, no sense of self beyond the relationship. But here's the paradox. As soon as James refocused on himself, something unexpected happened. He returned to the gym, threw himself into his career, reconnected with his friends, and reignited his passion for life. He was no longer seeking validation. He was again the man she first admired. And then, just as predictably, she reached out, not because he begged, not because he chased, but because she could feel the shift. A man who moves forward without hesitation becomes infinitely more attractive than one who lingers in the past. He does not seek to win her back because he is too busy winning at life. This is the secret most men never realize. Women do not want to be the reason you stop growing. They want to be drawn into the life you are already building. When you make her the center of your world, you risk losing her and yourself. But when you continue to evolve, pursue your passions relentlessly, and become the best version of yourself, not for her, but for you, women take notice. They respect you, they admire you, and most importantly, they desire you. The man who never stops growing is the man who never has to chase. 9. The key to making women always come back. A man who does not make a woman the center of his life stands apart. He does not operate from desperation or base his happiness on whether she stays or leaves. His value remains constant, unaffected by temporary emotions or fleeting relationships. Women are drawn to this unwavering stability because it signals strength, an internal foundation that external circumstances cannot shake. He does not beg for attention, cling to what is uncertain, or let intimacy dictate his sense of self-worth. After a moment of closeness, many men make the mistake of seeking validation, asking where things are going or rushing toward commitment. In doing so, they shift the balance of attraction. What once felt like a natural connection suddenly becomes a pursuit, a chase, a dynamic where she holds all the power. A man who understands this does not seek reassurance. He does not ask if she will return because he already knows that if she genuinely values him, she will. He does not fear losing her because his world does not revolve around her presence. This mindset, the mindset of a king, sets the tone for every interaction. A king does not chase, he attracts. He does not react emotionally to a woman's shifting moods or alter his path to accommodate uncertainty. When a woman feels this energy, she begins to view him differently. She sees him as a man of substance who cannot be easily swayed, who remains whole whether she stays or goes. This triggers something deep within her, a realization that she is dealing with someone rare, someone who does not need her but chooses her, and that choice makes all the difference. Women return to men who embody this energy because it is rare in a world where so many men give away their power, where they compromise their standards to avoid loneliness, where they fear walking away. The man who stands firm becomes irresistible. He does not have to manipulate or convince. His presence alone contrasts with everyone else she encounters. When she leaves, she expects him to chase. When he does not, she is left wondering why. When he continues to thrive in her absence, she questions what she walked away from. And when she finally realizes his worth, she seeks him out, not vice versa. The key to making women always come back is not a trick or a tactic. It is a way of being, a level of self-respect that makes a man untouchable. He does not break his frame, does not lower his standards, and does not trade his dignity for temporary affection. If she values him, she will return. If she does not, he has already moved forward. Either way, he remains undefeated. Conclusion: women always come back to high-value men. Women always remember and return to men who embody confidence, purpose, and emotional control. It's not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts and captivates. When you stop seeking validation, stay true to your values, and continue growing, you create a lasting impression that no woman can easily forget. The key takeaway is simple. High-value men don't chase, they attract. If you focus on your growth, maintain your self-respect, and let things unfold naturally, you will never have to worry about whether she comes back. Because if she truly values you, she will. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced this dynamic in your relationships? What lessons have you learned about maintaining attraction? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights on relationships, attraction, and self-improvement. See you in the next one.